It's Tuesday of what we consider Holy Week. We read that on Sunday before Passover, Jesus entered Jerusalem, and the people of the city cheered and praised and shouted, "Hosanna." Most people agree that yesterday, which was Monday, Jesus went into the temple and then later cursed the fig tree. Then today, Tuesday, he confronts religious leaders, talks about the end of age and the destruction of Jerusalem, and he passes the cursed fig tree that is now barren. This week has always been so intriguing to me. Not so much the events of each day, but the fact that these are Jesus' final days on earth. I've often wondered, if I knew the details of my own death, how would I spend the days leading up to it? What would I prioritize? Family, friends, finances? Well, Jesus prioritized people and their salvation. He spent those last days convincing everyone that he was the Son of God, the promised Messiah, and that belief in him would get you to our eternal home. We can see Jesus talking about this concept in John 12:20. We think this could have happened on Tuesday before his death. In this passage, we see some Greeks who went to worship at the Passover feast. They went to see Jesus. They wanted to see Jesus. Philip and Andrew were with him and brought him out. He starts off in verse 23 and 24 by saying, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit." In Jesus' previous teachings, we see that he uses a lot of analogies and parables and comparisons to help us understand his teachings. There are several takeaways we can gain from this verse, but let's just focus on the analogy he used of a tiny grain seed. The word seed shows up in the Bible 279 times. We can think of lots of stories with seeds. More commonly known stories are the mustard seed, the parable of the sower, and the seed of Abraham blessing all the nations. A seed symbolizes something being small that can turn into something much larger. In this passage, Jesus specifically talks about a grain seed. Grain is part of the wheat plant. At harvest, the wheat plant actually dies when it is cut off from the stalk. However, if one seed falls from the plant, then there is hope. With time, patience, and intention, one tiny grain of seed can create an entire field of wheat. When I was teaching second grade, one of the science units focused on exploring the idea of what a seed needs to grow. We determined that a seed needs two things. First, water. The Bible's full of analogies of water: parting of the Red Sea, the Israelites crossing the Jordan River, and how Jesus himself was baptized in water. As Christians today, we participate in baptism as a way to glorify him. And just like a tiny seed, we are saved and become part of his family forever. The second thing a seed needs to grow is light. Light was the first thing that there was when our world was created, and light is here in our passage today. If you keep reading on from verse 24, John records Jesus' words to the Greeks, and Jesus is telling them that the hour is near where the Son of Man will be lifted from the earth. And they ask, "Who is the Son of Man?" Jesus answers in verse 35. "So Jesus said to them, 'The light is among you for a little while longer. While you walk, you have the light, lest darkness overtake you. The one who walks in the darkness does not know where he is going. While you have the light, believe in the light, that you may become sons of light.'" Sons of light. Believers are the sons of light. We have the light just like the seed is a container of the plant. We are the container of Jesus' light. Jesus is the light to our path. Jesus' path was to die for us. But death is not the end. It's not the end for the plant. It's not the end for Jesus. And death is not the end for us. As you go through this week, meditating on his words and leading up to Easter Sunday, I pray we will continue his good work of planting seeds in the hearts of others so that his kingdom can continue to grow.